welcome everybody to the Vic Hugo show. It's been a minute, but it's gonna be a very important week. Of course, election, and my birthday, coming up. So you wanna throw a gift or two, um, let's get right into it. Crazy week in politics. I mean, we're getting closer to the finish line, and it seems like everything's coming up. Um, the thing that I'll start with, and this is what I'm talking about, the hypocrisy of the left. Okay, people I know. Oh, why are you voting for Trump? He said he hates Mexicans, which he never did, but I got all that. It's that verbiage that he's hateful. He's this. He's that. He's blah blah blah. Let's check this out because I want that same energy towards this.
This is our president, your president, if you live in America legally. And for some of you that live in America illegally, he's still your president. Here's what he just had to say about half of America. Go ahead, Rob.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
That was the United States president calling our citizens, half of our citizens, because let's be real, most of us are woke up and realized that this is bullshit and we support Trump. But I just want to make something clear, guys. I've been super like, oh, Trump. The only reason I've been doing that is because of the left is so bad, man. Like, so evil, I think. And I just want to make it clear that I'm not, I'm usually in the middle. If the Democrats had a better option, I would definitely vote Democrat. But it just seems that they've gone so far left that it has pushed me to consider myself a Republican. And I mean, it can change, it's not about party, it's about the nation. And I pretty much, I want to say that. I want to say focus more on the nation than the actual party, because a lot of people just want to focus on, oh, I'm a Democrat, my mom was a Democrat, my grandpa was a Democrat. Like, no. Do your research, get out there. Statements like this, okay? The people that were like, oh, Trump hates Mexicans, he hates blacks, he hates... That energy, where's it at now? Where is that energy towards the United States president actually calling Trump supporters trash? Okay, there's evidence. I just showed you the evidence. So this day, I'm waiting for somebody to show me evidence where Trump says he hates Mexicans. So that's already like, come on, man. Like, if you were one of the people saying that, where is the energy? Where is the outrage of this scenario? And if this doesn't help or change your mind of what these the left stands for, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't want to hear it at that point. But honestly, I feel like Biden is kind of, because they did him dirty. They did Biden dirty, man. He was supposed to be running for president, and then all of a sudden they saw that he was losing, and they're like, hey, get out, go back there. There's fucking baby feet over there. Get out of here. And they put Kamala in. They didn't let us elect who we wanted. And then there's some good Democratic candidates too, but we didn't get a choice. And I say we because if somebody was a Democratic candidate was better than Trump and they had the ability to put him there, shit, I could have voted for them. Who knows? We just don't know because we didn't get the ability to. They put somebody there, they forced their way in, and now we're kind of stuck in that. So yeah, that's why Trump is my choice. But no, I feel like Biden is kind of like, he had the MAGA hat on and he didn't want to take it off. And now this does not help Kamala at all. This does not help Kamala at all. Another thing that I want to jump in is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but with the whole Diddy situation and, I don't know if you guys remember this.
Oprah. J-Lo.
J-Lo.
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys.
Black King God. Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Mark Wahlberg.
Here.
Wahlberg.
That most of the people, I would say like 95% of this list, has come out voting and endorsing Kamala Harris. Diddy was very, very vocal on the Democratic Party always. Even back in, 2004, 2008, I don't know, with a vote or die. It was like, and I understood Barack Obama, it was, the black community had a representative and it was life-changing. But it seems like there's just something going on there too where like it's weird. I mean, I just saw an article right now. J-Lo just came out and supported Kamala. I mean, it's a little. There's no evidence to but and I had an argument with somebody and they were like, oh well, Trump had pictures with Epstein, and then okay, I get it, and a lot of people did, but there's no actual audio or anything of Epstein saying Trump did anything. This list right here is the list came out when Diddy was arrested. So is there a link there? I don't know. I just feel it's very, very weird. Perfect timing. And like I don't know. It's another reason not to actually go the Kamala route, to be honest with you. And it sucks because dude, this like Diddy was like somebody I was like, oh, I saw Diddy and it was so badass. I mean his music molded a whole generation, you know what I mean? So it sucks that he's in this spot. I mean, there's no guilty verdict yet. Apparently there's a lot of evidence. We won't know. I hope not, because I don't want to stop listening to a lot of that music. But it's weird that all these celebrities, and it's usually celebrities are always left. Now keep in mind, these are actors, these are entertainers that get paid. So I don't know. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. Moving on. So Joe Rogan had Trump on. Crazy interview, very, very good interview, and I think it's like at 50 million views already. Kamala jumped on with Shannon Sharp, which Shannon Sharp is, I love Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, shout out to them. I love those. I love both podcasts, both shows. I think that's like had 1 million views. So I mean, I 4 years ago, I supported Trump, and I would get so much hate and like, in family gatherings. I lost a couple friends for it, and now I look around. You remember wearing the MAGA hat was like, oh shit, like it was bad. People were getting jumped and beat up for it. And now that I see people wearing it and it's out like nothing, it does make me happy, because people are doing their own research. And not to say that people that like Kamala aren't, and I can see why people don't like Trump. But me personally, I don't go based on, oh, I don't like this person because this. Like, well, none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. So I go based on, can you get the job done? Are you getting the job done? Have you gotten the job done? And Trump has proved that he did while he was president, and Kamala unfortunately failed at it. I mean, it's right there. But I wanted to jump into something real big here, and something that I saw. And most of the stuff is I'm sharing with you guys is not to change your mind. It's just informative stuff that I see that's kind of like, there's certain things that are like make you think, like, why is this happening? Why did that happen? Why did J-Lo come out? But J-Lo's on Diddy's list, and then you start, it's just critical thinking, common sense kind of stuff. I'm not, it's a matter of reading and not actually listening to the media, which the media to me, like, I still watch CNN, I still watch Fox, because I want to see what with the perspective and what they're saying. But to me, the real media is stuff like this, right? Stuff podcasts, Joe Rogan, PBD, you know, like Shannon Sharp, like that's the real media now. Like it's uncensored. Piers Morgan, it's uncensored to where you can make it this, you can read a person there. It's not fake. They're not putting up a show, you know. And I feel like TV, it's just a show. Like they are putting up a show, and it's hard to read people. It's hard to see if they're being honest. So in this scenario, I feel like that's why Kamala Harris is for censoring, right? So the whole Twitter files, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg came out and said he regrets going into the pressure that the government was putting for him to block posts about Trump.
Wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it, adding, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. President Biden was asked about misinformation online in the summer of 2021.
On COVID misinformation, what's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people. I mean, it really, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated.
When Elon Musk bought Twitter, he revealed a lot of stuff that was going on.
Security and the largest tech companies in the country, they had an organized system for flagging content, not occasionally, but in enormous numbers, involving spreadsheets of accounts that ran to the hundreds and thousands. And this was shocking to us, and to the congressman's point, this isn't crazy conspiracy theory. We've already had 4 federal judges rule that they believe this activity violates the First Amendment. This is quite serious. We didn't know whether it was against the law, but we certainly thought it was shocking.
And she said it. She's like, if Facebook and this are going to follow rules, then Elon must follow these rules. But what rules? This is the internet. This is the Wild Wild West. There is no rules. So I want to share this with you guys, especially with the comments that Mark Cuban just made about not having Trump not being with strong women. This is one of the strongest women, political women that I've seen. I mean, she was in the freaking military, for crying out loud. How can you even talk shit about this lady?
The contrast on this issue of peace and war between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, what kind of president and commander-in-chief Kamala Harris would be. President Trump has already shown us through his record what kind of president and commander-in-chief he was and will be again, especially during this time of global crisis. The thing that I'll add to what Bobby said about Kamala Harris and why she has earned the support of Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and just about every other neocon in Washington is that they know that she will continue the standard that Joe Biden has set in being a figurehead that they can pass their talking points to, and who will do what the national security state, the military-industrial complex, and the neocons want her to do.
So that's Tulsi Gabbard, and one of the strongest women, political women that I see, and she was a Democrat once, switched to the Republican side, because the Republican side is not the Republican side that we grew up in now, okay? You see a lot of changes, a lot of stances. Like, it's crazy to me when I talk to people, right? And I'm like, okay, why do you like Kamala Harris? And it's like, oh, because first they can't give me a real answer. But it always ends up with that one thing. I just don't like Trump, man. Trump's an asshole. Trump's this, you know? Then, okay, cool. Like, we're all assholes, I think, at one point. But, okay, cool. That's your prerogative. You can choose to do that. But I'm like, well, how do you feel about the wars right now? When we had Trump, there was no war. And he actually had a peace deal in the Middle East. As soon as Biden administration came in, we were in 2 wars. How do you feel about that? Oh, man, look, Kamala's already going to end the wars. And come on, guys. Like, it's either you do it or you don't, and Trump did it. So, look, I'm not saying here the guy's fucking savior, Jesus Christ. Of course not. I'm just saying he's already proved it. Like I there's more trust there. There's more trust to where I can go and say I trust you instead of you. And then just Kamal's just you know, dude. I've been in sales since I was 18 years old. I'm about to be 36, and I've seen every kind of salesman out there, every kind of salesman. And Kamal's just fucking that old school car salesman, bro. That's just gonna say anything to get elected, and then just watch it fucking fall apart when she does. I mean, people are. My cousin asked me, he's like, "Oh, are you gonna go storm the Capitol?" You know, if Trump loses, he loses. It is what it is. All I can do, like, I'll quote my boy Louis on this, is just take care of my family. And you know, it's just, it sucks because, I mean, at a point they just signed a law, Biden and her, where the military can attack us here in U.S. soil. The military can attack you and me if we decide to protest in any way. But that's who people want. That's who people want. Moving on, we talked Joe Rogan. We talked Shannon Sharp. Joe Rogan actually had an interview with J.D. Vance, the vice president candidate in the Republican side. And I really liked the interview. I hadn't really heard a lot of J.D. Vance's stuff, but this was huge. And this was one of the topics that I actually liked. And I'm not done with the actual interview, but I'm going to play a clip of the actual of the interview. Here we go.
Well, we've always known that children are very easily influenced and that children shouldn't be allowed to make life-changing decisions when they're very young. That's why they can't get tattooed.
Absolutely.
We've always known that. And then all of a sudden, because of gender, that's abandoned.
That's right.
We've completely changed the way we think that children, they just know. I've had mind-numbing conversations with people who believe that. And it all falls apart if you just keep asking questions.
That's right.
And just ask them to define, how could you know this? What about the development of the frontal lobe? What about this understanding that children have never been able to make life-changing decisions?
Correct.
You don't allow them to drink alcohol. You don't allow them to get tattooed. They can't join the military when they're 10. Like there's a lot of shit you can't do when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
Why are you letting them just change their gender? And what does this even mean?
That's right.
And then the New York Times thing that comes out where it shows that they had a whole study about these puberty blockers that showed that they do not help the children's mental health and that they probably have a lot of horrific side effects.
Exactly.
And so they decided not to release the study.
And they decided not to publish that.
It's huge, just because, I mean, look, I support all kinds of people. If you're gay, if you're trans, you do what you gotta do. But when it comes to the children, that's where I draw the line, and there has to be a line to be drawn. There has to be, and I think it starts with children. You don't fuck with children, man. Like that's come on. Like I it's crazy that we even have to explain this nowadays. You know, like it's a child, okay? And later on in the interview, they talk about, you know, you can't get a tattoo, you can't drink, you can't do so much till you're 18, but you can change your gender. It makes no sense, guys. It makes no freaking sense. Like the fact that it's an argument now is like, wow. This is why, again, I chose the Trump side. Okay? And I'm touching on reasons why I can't vote for Kamala. Okay? Because stuff like this, she definitely supports 100%. Men in women's sports. And it's like, people are like, oh, here we go. Why are you bringing that up? Because it's a thing. Like, they try to like, no, okay, but this. And it's like, no, dude. Like the fact that these two things are on her list, and you're trying to just like, oh, that's there, but we're focused on this. Like, no, we have to focus on protecting children. And it's, besides the 300,000 kids that are missing, this is just another. And then the fact that they were funding they were funding for immigrant children to get sex change. Is like, what? That's our tax dollars going to that. Like, if you want, if a person when they are an adult want to do that, by all means, go do your thing. But as a child, especially us funding it, hell no, hell no. So we got to get our priorities straight, I think. And I don't know where it happened to. We shifted to that. But to me, I can easily say, oh, if you vote Kamala, you're against children. You know, it can easily be switched like that, turn around. But we're not trying to do that. We're not the party that does that. We're just trying to make you realize that how wrong it is, which is wrong. It's wrong. It's fucking wrong. Another reason why I gotta go with the Trump route is the dude has shown that he's willing to work with anybody to get the job done. Okay, RFK Jr. was his political opponent, and what happened? He's actually on the Trump train now. Why? Because he told them, hey, you know what? This is important to you. Health is important to you. Health is important to me. Let's fix this. If I get elected, I'm going to put you in a position to where you can make a change in health.
Me, why I left the Democratic Party. And I say, I don't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. This is not the party anymore of Martin Luther King, of Robert Kennedy, of John Kennedy. That was the party of peace. It was the party of constitutional rights, of civil rights, of freedom of speech. It was the party that wanted to protect and nurture the middle class. It was the party that stood up to censorship, to surveillance, that stood up to the CIA, to the military complex, military-industrial complex. And it was the party that wanted to protect public health and women's sports. My uncle, Ted Kennedy, wrote Title IX, which protected women's sports in college. It was the party that believed in voting rights and fought for the right of every American to vote for the person of their choice. Today's Democratic Party is the party of war. It's the party of the CIA. You had Kamala Harris giving a speech at the Democratic Convention that was written by neocons, that was belligerent, pugnacious, that talked about the domination of the world by the United States through our weapons of war.
Segment on one of my other podcasts, 3 to Tango. Shout out Louis, shout out Steven. We talked about how there's many foods in America that are sold here and are not sold anywhere around the world. They're banned. It's illegal. Why, right? So you get to the why, and you break it down, and it's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Why is our government letting these companies poison us and get away with it? Okay, obesity has been a problem in America for a while, and look, this is, I'm not blaming the companies like, oh, everybody's fat, because like, no, we as humans, we as people, you know, have to change the priorities and focus and see what it is. But I mean, it's something that can be handled. It's something that shouldn't be happening if it's banned everywhere around the world. Like, you're telling me there's not one person that was like, hey, how come it's banned in Germany and over here, but we're letting it in here? You know what I mean? Like, that's, and I know it's all money grab. I know it's all business. I know it's all money. I know why things happen. What I'm saying is, where's the guy that's gonna be like, hey, we are not gonna let this happen? And we don't have that guy right now. That's why RFK has to be that guy, because he wants to be. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, if there's a guy who wants to fucking do a certain thing, like Elon, right? He wants to build rockets, and he's out there doing it. There should be that guy always, because the advancement of civilization matters as well. I don't know how you feel about the robots thing. I mean, a lot of people don't like it. I like it to an extent. I mean, I'm like, it's cool to see. I don't know if we should all have a fucking robot, but we'll see how it works. I mean, I think it's predicted to like 2040, like there's gonna be the same amount of robots as there is humans, which is fucking crazy to me, to be honest with you. I think that's all I have here. It's gonna be a crazy week. I'll probably have another episode here before election day, just we can track and see how the votes are going. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.